right, so today's chapter 10, day 3. We're going to learn how to divide rational expressions, and we're going to actually learn it stacked style. This is a form that you will see on your SAT test pretty much every year, is doing stacked style of fractions. So Roman number 1, steps. Okay, so for what we're doing, number 1, you're going to stack your fractions. They will not come pre-stacked. So stack your fractions. So you have a fraction over a fraction. Step 2, factor everything, top and bottom, top and bottom. All right, this is the money move. This is the big step. Step 3, you're going to eliminate the bottom fraction. You're going to eliminate the bottom fraction. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to take that bottom fraction and you're going to multiply by its reciprocal. And you know from experience, when you multiply something by reciprocal, it cancels out. But of course, you can't just do that on the bottom, because then your value would be not the same. So you also need to multiply the top by the same reciprocal. This is legal because when you multiply by a number over itself, you're really just multiplying by 1. So you're changing the way it looks, not the value of it. All right, now here's where this is now what we worked on last night. You're going to number 4. You're going to multiply straight across. And your last step, also what we've been working on, cancel and or fix what is left to simplify. So really, stacking the fractions, factoring everything, we've done that. The main new step is eliminating the bottom. That's the main new step. Okay, so for the rest of the page, I want you to put a line down the middle. We're going to do 3 examples today. We'll start simple and go more challenging. So here's example 1. X minus 2 over 2x divided by x minus 2 over x plus 5. All right, so first thing we're going to do is stack these up. And you know that a division symbol is a little picture of a fraction. The first fraction always goes on top. The second fraction always goes on bottom. So we're going to have x minus 2 over 2x all over x minus 2 over x plus 5. So we have stacked the fractions. It kind of helps if you make the main fraction bar big and heavy, so your brain can see there's a top fraction with a numerator and a denominator, and there's a bottom fraction with its own numerator and denominator. Okay, step 2, factor everything. Okay, so x minus 2 is a binomial. We can't divide anything out, and it is not a squared minus b squared because x is not squared. So this is just x minus 2. Okay, underneath of that, 2x is a monomial, which means we prime factor. That would be 2 times x. Then we have the big fraction bar. Now the bottom, I have another x minus 2. You can't divide anything out. It is not a squared minus b squared. So it just stays x minus 2 over x plus 5. You can't divide anything out. And it's not a squared minus b squared because it's got a plus in it. So it's just x plus 5. All right, so we have factored everything on top, and we've factored everything on the bottom. Now we're going to do the money move. We're going to eliminate the bottom by multiplying by its reciprocal. So we're going to multiply by x plus 5 over x minus 2. And because we're doing it on the bottom, we must also do it on the top. Multiply by x plus 5 over x minus 2 on the bottom. Now, the reason this works is whenever you multiply something by its reciprocal, it always divides to 1. So x plus 5 divides into x plus 5, x minus 2 divides into x minus 2, which means the entire bottom of the fraction is 1. And like any number over 1, we can disregard the bottom and just have the top. So on the top, this is now multiplication, top times top, bottom times bottom. We get x minus 2 times x plus 5 over 2 times x minus 2. And I can divide an x minus 2 out. That leaves me with x plus 5 over, and then always multiply the monomials. 2 times x is 2x. And like yesterday, these will be delightfully broken down by the end. It will be highly simplified. All right, let's do another example. Example 2, we're going to do x squared minus 9 over 4x squared divided by x minus 3. Now, with division, it's usually easiest if you take your whole numbers and put them over a 1 so that your fractions stay lined up. All right, so step 1, stack your fractions. So we're going to go x squared minus 9 over 4x squared all over x minus 3 over 1. And again, make sure that that main fraction bar is heavy and dark so you can see it. That is your first step. Step 2, factor everything. So x squared minus 9 is the a squared minus b squared pattern. So it factors into x plus 3, x minus 3. 4x squared is a monomial, which you prime factor. So 2 times 2, x times x, all over on the bottom. X minus 3 is not a squared minus b squared because the x is not squared, so it stays the same. And obviously the 1 stays the same. So that is step 2. We have factored everything. Now step 3, multiply the bottom by its reciprocal. So we're going to multiply by 1 over x minus 3, which means we also multiply the top by the same thing, 1 over x minus 3. The bottom, because you're multiplying by the reciprocal, everything cancels out and equals 1. So anything over 1 is itself. So we just rewrite the top, multiplying straight across. So multiplying straight across, I have x plus 3, x minus 3. You do not have to put the times 1. All over, multiply the bottom straight across. I have a 2, an x, and an x minus 3. All right, cancel and or fix to finish simplifying. I can cancel out an x minus 3. And that's pretty much it because x plus 3 is a binomial. On the bottom are monomials, and you can only cancel likes with likes. So x plus 3 is now alone on the top, and on the bottom you multiply the monomials back together and you get 4x squared. All right, we are going to do one last example. Example 3. I wanted to do an example that had the trinomials in it. So here we go. X squared plus 8x plus 16 divided by x minus 1, quantity divided by x plus 4 over x squared minus 2x plus 1. And as usual, you do not have to recopy the homework problems. You can go straight to stacking. So step 1, we're going to stack them together. So the x squared plus 8x plus 16 over x minus 1 goes on the top. Big fraction bar. And then x plus 4 over x squared minus 2x plus 1 goes on the bottom. All right, so we've done step 1. We have stacked the fractions. Now step 2, factor everything. So this is a trinomial. A is 1, which means the c's add up to 8 on their own. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 plus 4 is 8. So it's going to factor into x plus 4 over x minus 1 has a negative, but x is not squared. It's just x minus 1. Then we have our big fraction bar. Again, making that heavy and dark helps your brain cells. On the bottom, x plus 4 has a plus, so obviously not a squared minus b squared, so just recopy it. Over the trinomial, again, a is 1, so factors of c will add up to b by themselves. So -1 times -1 is +1, and -1 minus 1 is -2. So it's going to be x minus 1, x minus 1. All right, everything is factored. That is step 2. Now we're going to do the money move. Step 3, we're going to eliminate the bottom. So we multiply the bottom by its reciprocal, x minus 1 times x minus 1 over x plus 4. And we multiply the top by the same thing, x minus 1 times x minus 1 over x plus 4. When you multiply the bottom by its reciprocal, everything divides out, and the entire bottom of that fraction is now equal to 1, and anything over 1 is itself, so we can disregard the bottom. On the top, we're multiplying straight across, so just push it together. X plus 4 times x plus 4, tops times tops, x minus 1, x minus 1, all over, now the bottoms, x minus 1 times x plus 4. So we've multiplied the tops, we've multiplied the bottoms, we're ready for the last step. Step 5, cancel what you can and or fix. So I have an x minus 1 that will divide out. I have an x plus 4 that will divide out. There's nothing but a 1 now on the bottom, and all that's left is the top, which is x plus 4 times x minus 1. And we are done. Are there any questions?